So, but I did kind of want to start off with what was kind of circulating around that time too, even beforehand. And this was in WCW. I wanted to see if you kind of remember any of this aspect of it all. So, Halloween Havoc 1998 took place on October 25th and featured the rematch of the historic WrestleMania 6 battle in the Toronto Dome between the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. This match was pretty much a mess, as there was a missed flash paper spot where Hogan got the tainted win with the help of his nephew Horace, but the flash paper, he almost tried to do a fireball when it get like akin to the Sheik, but it did not go well.
Right.
So when you were a fan, you were a pretty big Warrior fan, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did the original WrestleMania match between him and Hogan stand out to you as a fan back when you were watching? Was that like one of your big matches as a kid, or not? You weren't necessarily a kid back then,
right? That's the thing. Like around that time when I first got into the business, sometimes in my mind I'm trying to remember, like, was I already in the business, or was I a kid still watching it? At home with my parents, and I do remember when Hogan and an Ultimate Warrior wrestled each other. Was it SummerSlam 4? No,
WrestleMania 6.
4. Oh, so what year would that be?
I want to say 1990, I think.
Okay, so then I would be like schooling, maybe or maybe not. I had my first couple of matches around the Detroit area at that time. But I remember that because I remember me and Dango going over to Brian Livingood's aunt's house to watch this pay-per-view, and I was really excited about it. That's the way I remember it. And we were playing on the trampoline, jumping on it, doing wrestling moves. And I actually have a video recording of that really? That afternoon, us waiting for the show to start, playing on the trampoline. And as I remember being that match. So, but for some reason, I also remember it being a Survivor Series. But I think it was, I just thought that, I had that mixed up in my head. But so there was that, and it was really important to me because I thought Warrior was awesome, and I thought he was really getting his roses, his flowers, his just due if he was going up against the immortal Hulk Hogan and going head to head. Like, holy crap. And having the muscle intensity to back up being in that spot, to still be such a show that we're going, oh my God, look at that freak, when they're both just, just all that muscle and flesh and just boom, Can I use the word homoerotic and piss some fans off here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Warrior, like I probably discovered him not long before that. So, it's probably 17, 18. I don't know how long he'd been in the WWE at that point.
Probably like a couple of years, I think.
Maybe so I saw him when he first came in. That's when I was a super fan. I was going to be a wrestler. I was doing the kickboxing. I just put that poster up on Instagram. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. With you and Dango?
From 1988. It's great because I'm like this. And his arms look bigger than mine. So I took a pen and drew. Tried to draw above the cutout, and then ended up drawing over everything to try to make it blend in or whatever. And it's hilarious. But 1988 Summer Jam, that was a good gem to find when I was visiting my parents in Florida a couple of days ago. But anyway, during the time Warrior, when I was hitting every show, within 90 miles at that time, super fan. And this new guy, Dingo Warrior, came in. I don't know if you knew that, but he was the Dingo Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blade Runner with Sting.
You know what music he came out to?
No, what did he come out to?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe this because it was so. Robert actually made fun of me. He was one of the four of us that were wrestlers. Me, Dango, Robert, and Eddie. Eddie Hawksworth was at the Kellogg Center a few weeks ago, so it was really cool to see him. And Robert Jackson's in Miami, but we would have tag matches every Monday at the Robert Dome. And I went when I was, really excited about the Dingo Warrior, like, oh my God, he's the best. I love him. Robert would make fun of me because of his song. He came out to Pat Benatar.
The Warrior?
Yes.
I am the Warrior.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny? That's what they brought. That's what they had for him to come out to. I saw him at house shows in Lansing and Indiana and wherever around the area. Yeah, beating down the walls of fire. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
I am the warrior. I don't know. It was funny. But anyway, that dude, he was so intense. And I was just captivated by him. I thought he was Achilles reincarnated because I was really into Greek mythology at the time, and he was everything that I was reading about. So it helped me picturing Ultimate Warrior out on the battlefield, slaying all the Trojans, making way for the Greeks coming in off of the beach, heading towards the walls of Troy. And it was just like, dude, yeah, I just totally pictured him.
Yeah.
And I thought they were like interchangeable. And I think he said that too in an interview or something. I was like, of course.
Yeah. Was he your number one guy then? Like
he was at that time. Yeah. My number one guy changed around here and there. For a lot of time it was Leaping Lanny Poffo.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Lanny a lot because he thought outside of the box, did moves that were exciting to me, even though it was just like flying head scissors. That wasn't done back then. A monkey flip. Oh my God. That was extreme for back then in that style. So he was my favorite, but I don't remember like ever being like really passionate about him like with the Ultimate Warrior, you know what I mean? Where, he just had so much intensity and that was his vibe. And so he inflicted that upon other people. And then we all caught into that, want to beat our chest, yeah.
Spirit.
Who else was my favorite for a while? I don't know. Hogan was probably for a minute. Hercules was when he was wrestling against Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Hercules Hernandez then. But Warrior for a while, and I really, really got into him where I would cut out all the pictures out of magazines and newspapers and put them on the wall. And then when I would wrestle at those pre-Chic matches that I put the poster up on, I would maybe not on that one, but on some of those though, I would use Sharpie and color my face and put shoelaces on my arms. I was the Battle Creek Barbarian.
Nice.
And I do have pictures. I do have pictures, but no video.
Ooh, all right. We might have to get those.
Yeah, we should have a bulletin board or something for the show to like every week when we talk about shit, we could throw stuff up there.
Yeah, I would like it. I think that would be really cool.
How do we monetize it?
Yeah, how do we make money off it though? Do you remember the rematch? So this Halloween Havoc match at all? Do you remember him being in WCW or anything like that? Was that on your radar at all at this juncture or not really?
Not. Didn't they like promise they were going to bring Warrior and then they brought the Renegade instead? Was that this? Or
that
no?
was beforehand. So like they didn't get the Warrior. So they had, I can't remember the guy's name that played the Renegade.
He killed himself.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Because the way the story goes, he killed himself because, well, I mean, who really knows? But the way the story goes down is that they fucked with him that much,
really?
and told him he was going to be the next Ultimate Warrior. They were going to give him this monster push. And then fucking when they brought him on, the way I understand it, Renegade, but they had him painted everything just like the Warrior, but he wasn't the Warrior. Much smaller, less intense dude. I mean, that's like a singer trying to sing a Whitney Houston song. You can't just step into that. And anyway, he didn't get over from what I understand. And then, they kind of kicked him to the side and treated him like shit and did some of the things that people in power can do when they lack empathy. And boom, he put a gun to his head and blew his head off.
Wow. Jeez, I forgot. I knew he passed away. I forgot it was that though. Man.
I think of that when I think of Warrior being in WCW. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I even think about with connecting that. And besides that, I just think of him as being in WWE. But I know he came in after that, right?
He did come in after that, yeah. And then they did a big angle. He was there for a few shows, but he didn't last long.
I think he was upset that they were bringing in a fake warrior too. You know, like I don't know if it was negotiations and he wanted more money than they wanted to pay him, which probably whether they talked or not might have been the situation. Could have been perceived as the situation, but it seems like I remember even him or his perspective somewhere out there being portrayed as, dude, what the fuck? You bringing in this fake warrior, like, and yeah, I don't know, you know, to what degree that was fact, but makes sense, of course. You know, anybody would. How could you
And
not?
he was very protective of his persona, obviously, too, changing his name and all that stuff, too.
Did I talk about the full circle relationship I had with the Warrior
No, I don't think you
on
have.
this show? On this, because it's worth so it's worth mentioning. So we talked about what a fan I was of his.
Right.
I mean, I went paid to see him and fucking, you know, idolized the guy. When I was already in the business wrestling for this group out here in Las Vegas, the NWC. This is 95, I think. One day we were wrestling at the Aladdin here in Las Vegas, which is no longer there. It's been imploded. It's, I believe, where Planet Hollywood is now, but big part of history of the Aladdin. And, you know, I'm stoked that I got to be there before it was taken down. But we did a show there and Warrior was on it. And so that I was like really excited about that. We actually did a laser tag with kids, with fans as part of a promotional thing. And so that was like really memorable. Like I said, that was like 95. And then I didn't see him or talk to him. Even there, I don't remember if I ever talked to him at that show in Las Vegas. I mean, I was a young green kid and he was Ultimate Warrior, probably dressing by himself. One show, I don't know. But see, I don't know what year this would be, 2010-ish, let's just say. Sounds right. But we had a mutual friend, Warrior and I, in Andrew Wright, who's a documentary producer. He did the Hardy Boys TV thing or whatever, started me on RVD TV. Good dude. And he was doing a documentary on Warrior. And he said that he told Warrior, you know, that I was a big fan of his and respected him a lot. And Warrior respected me and wanted to know if he came, would I be able to get into a ring with him? Because he hasn't wrestled in 10 years and he's got this match coming up with Orlando Jordan and he wants to just get in the ring, bounce around a little bit or whatever. Would I get in the ring with him, you know? And I was like, fuck yeah, you know, that would be awesome. I had some conditions, you know, which he met. He came to LA and we went to Jesse Hernandez's wrestling school. And anyway, there wasn't a lot of training that went on there, you know, and they did have the match, I think in Spain or whatever. And then it was later in WWE, I connected with him again right before he died. Like he was there at the WrestleMania. I guess that was a couple of days before he died, I guess.
Yeah. Because he died, I think, on Tuesday after Raw. It was.
So I was I remember talking to him in the press box and stuff. And by that time, you know, he was like, we were like friendly, like he knew who I was for sure, whatever. Well, after he died, I was talking to his wife one time, and his wife said to me that the Warrior was always a big fan of mine, and I was like, "What?" She said, I don't know if you remember this or not. She said, but one time you guys were on a show together in Las Vegas a long time ago. I was like, yeah, at the Aladdin. Of course, I remember. I wouldn't expect him to remember that I was on that card. You know, I didn't do anything memorable with him or whatever. She said, no, you stuck out to him, and he noticed you right away and pointed you out. And she said over the years that he always would point you out to me on TV and say, watch this guy, he knows what he's doing. And she said that he always like followed my career and stuff. And I was just blown away. I was like, I would have no fucking earthly idea if she hadn't told me that. And that was just so cool to know. And then it made sense that why he wanted me to get in the ring with him, that I wasn't just on a list of guys that passed the credibility test, but that, we had like a mutual respect. So that's something I just wanted to share, that fucking full circle of life with the Ultimate Warrior.
Feel the power. That's wild though. And so at that time in Vegas, how much of like the RVD look did you have at that juncture? Like that people
I was RVD new into it, like about a year or two into the I might have even wrestled barefoot. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I hope not. Either I might have just started putting boots on, or I was barefoot. But I had the singlet that I wear now.
Mm-hmm.
But the airbrushing was only like, I only had one design. It was a silhouette of me doing a flying sidekick, with a lightning bolt behind it.
Oh.
I had that. Those are my first couple. I had it in red, and then I had it in blue. And I was a tag team there with Bobby Bradley. We were called Aerial Assault. I ended up getting him an outfit to match mine. And so those were our first two outfits. That's what I wore back there in the Las Vegas NWC days.
Nice. That is sweet full circle.
Sometimes